If you're a regular viewer of my YouTube channel, you may have noticed that I'm not talking much about banks and inflation and Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen. No, I'm talking about what I think is important, and that is the AI revolution and how it's going to present a tremendous investment opportunity if you invest in the stocks that are going to take us into this new era. I equate it very much to that of roughly 1998, 99, as Bill Gates and Steve Jobs introduced us to the computer. And I think I heard, and you'll see in an interview I'm going to show you, that there were something like 30,000 people using the internet in 1989, and now there's an enormous billions of people using it. That you'll hear it in this interview. So that's where my focus is, and I get into a debate, particularly with my son, who is a little bit more practical, and he says, no, this market's going down, and it's going to be a bloodbath, and he questions me for my holdings of the 13 stocks in my bus portfolio that are all geared towards artificial intelligence. So we're going to actually create a private video to our Patreon members, those of them who are premium and above, where we're going to, on every Saturday, put up a video that of and I going back and forth on what is actually happening and where should we invest and how should we allocate and what risk management should be incorporated. And then the other thing we're implementing is I watch a lot of videos, and I see some excellent videos, and we're going to have the best of the best. That's also going to be a function on our Discord to our premium and above members, because what I want to do is share my knowledge. My tribe, my members of the Discord, quite often send me videos. In fact, this is how I got these two videos I'm going to show you, or these interviews that I'm going to share with you today. So let's get out of the way that this is not financial advice. This is financial education.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
The other thing I think that's very important right now is the new book that I'm reading. This is a book by James Malinchuk. It's called Nothing But Net. And he is a stock analyst who basically started 25 years ago, and he takes you through how he analyzed the dot-com bubble, or the dot-com revolution and the digital revolution, and how he looked at stocks. And I think it's very pertinent because this is the same way as we're going through this second revolution, you should be looking at stocks. So my question was, who are the AI stocks? How quick is this going to happen? And how should I be investing? And I thought these two CNBC interviews were very good. There's the first one is from a gentleman by the name of Mistaba, and he is the founder of Deep Minds. This was a Google company, and now he has gone out and started his own startup called Inflection AI. It is a startup. It is being funded by him, Reid Hoffman, and Karen Simongen, who happens to be a man. But they are trying to build the AI that will be directed specifically to consumers like you and I. He makes some good points that I want you to absorb. Here it is.
Co-founder of DeepMind, which was sold to Google back in 2014. He's now the co-founder and CEO of Inflection AI, also the author of The Coming Wave, which is out in September. It's great to meet you and have you. We feel lucky to have this interview with you today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Your book is essentially a warning of sorts about this coming wave, of which you say, quote, "We're not prepared."
I don't think we are prepared, and I think it's important for us to be super aware that this is going to be a dramatic transformation. The benefits are going to be unbelievable. I mean, we are on the cusp of unleashing an intelligence revolution. Think about it. Over the last 20 years, we've all got access to smartphones and laptops. Whether you're a billionaire or you earn $20,000 a year, we all get to use the same cutting-edge hardware. And over the next 10 years, maybe 20 years, we're all going to get access to intelligence in your pocket, the best, the smartest, the most incredible tool you could ever imagine. And that's going to change everything.
I think we're trying to, get our arms around what it's really going to mean. And the obvious thing that you come back to, and others have made the comparison, is to the invention of the internet, of which you say one perspective of how to sort of visualize what this is going to look like. In 1996, 36 million people used the internet. In 2023, it is 5 billion. That's the kind of trajectory we should expect for AI tools, only much, much faster. Those are astounding numbers.
I think that's absolutely right. Everybody is going to get access to the smartest intelligent assistant that you can imagine. I'm personally focused on building a personal AI, and I think that in your pocket, you're going to have a really capable tool that will make you much better at everything that you want to do, give you access to information, and help you take actions.
You've been very vocal, too, to this point on the fallout from what AI is going to mean for white-collar workers, for job loss. Unquestionably, you said many of the tasks in white-collar land will look very different in the next 5 to 10 years. There are going to be a serious number of losers. Can you explain that more of really what you see?
Anything that makes us smarter is clearly going to enable us to save time in certain ways, right? So there are huge efficiencies to come here, and those efficiencies will definitely change jobs. There's going to be a reshuffling of who does what and when. And I think the challenge for society is trying to make sure that we make that transition in as smooth as possible way. And that means we're going to have to catch the people who aren't able to retrain as quickly as they will need to, or even relocate to places where there are jobs.
Now, the second video is, again, one with Scott Wapner on CNBC. But this gentleman has started a company called Neva. It was just a two-person company, and they just entered into an agreement to be bought out or merge with Snowflake. And Snowflake is a customer management platform that is very, very successful. And he is going to share with you his insights as to how AI is going to affect the business community. Masaba's was the consumer community. This is more of the business community. So watch this.
We just got a really easy to understand use case from Mustafa for how our lives will be changed.
Yeah.
How will my business life be changed?
Yeah, just stepping back, without getting into does AI mean apocalypse or world peace, what it clearly already delivers is an amazing new way to interact with computers. So far, all of us have had to follow the rules of the computer for how we interacted with anything. I'm sure like all of us can remember the frustrations with any travel site or some other app that we used. It's a pain. What large language models do is it lets us talk to these programs in natural language. And now think about it, when you combine that with the functionality that's already available, whether it's a search API or some business API or data analytics, you're going to unlock incredible functionality. So whether it is sending business email or doing analysis on business data or figuring out what are exactly the things that you need to do for getting a particular sale done, these co-pilots are always going to be there, and you're going to converse with them, and they're going to remember the context of what you are doing. Just like Mustafa was talking about Pi sort of being your accompanist, like your chief of staff for the world, you're going to have that for every enterprise function. That's an enormous opportunity waiting to be tapped.
Wow.
So Scott, one way to think about this is the largest market in all of software 23 years ago at the start of the internet was databases. They were worth $1 trillion. Think IBM, think Microsoft, think Oracle, etc. Why are databases so valuable? because businesses leverage the data in the databases to make better decisions, to tell you whether to merchandise black shirts or what your sales forecast is going to be tomorrow, what you should price a product. But you had to learn specialized knowledge to store the data and to extract the data. And what's interesting to us today is we're tearing down the walls between those databases so that enterprises can capture all this data, much like is happening with the consumer. And then you have a new emergent class of businesses that are building that pie. Think of that personal intelligence, but for the business.
So Mustafa suggested when I asked him when is the great question. Of course, everybody wants to know, when are these advances going to be at my fingertips? When's my co-pilot going to be able to be enhanced? He said in a matter of months for consumer technologies. What about for these sort of business applications?
Well, so I think the pace of change is something that none of us have quite gotten used to. So I think you're going to see these co-pilots roll out from Snowflake, from others. We have a big conference change, and therefore getting the first mover advantage is going to be incredibly critical. It's coming up in Vegas on 26 with lots of announcements. So I think this pace of change.
So this is the direction I'm taking my channel and my Discord. I recognize that some of you are not comfortable with Discord. It's a little bit complicated to deal with. So we are in the process of building out our website so as to provide you with all this information on a website which is much easier to use. And part of that website and part of our program is to put out private videos. As I said, a week from this Saturday, we will do a private video where Trent and I will back and forth, because we look at it at two different directions or two different perspectives. I'm not worried about Jerome Powell or interest rates, and I'm not worried about inflation. That will take care of itself. And as you heard in the interview with Masaba, the profits that are going to come to these companies who adapt artificial intelligence are going to change the perspective entirely. As I said in this book, he drove home to me that what a stock price sells for, what a share of a company sells for today on the stock market is totally irrelevant to anything. What's important is, number one, their TAM, their total market availability. How big is their market? And then how much money can they make off of that market? Once the market recognizes the money that Amazon was making, Amazon price skyrocketed because they make a lot of money. That is the same case for Apple and for Meta and for Microsoft. If they make money, you will be okay as far as the price. If there's rumors, if there's talk that is adversarial, or if interest rates are going up and the stock market gets scared, or if 3 banks fail and the stock market gets scared and Amazon's price goes down, that really has nothing to do with Amazon's profitability. I have, as I said, I have created my bus portfolio. Currently, there are 13 stocks in it. There were 14, but if you watched my video on C3AI, you know why I dumped that Monday morning as quickly as I could, because the CEO is not somebody that I'd want to go out to dinner with, and I certainly wouldn't want to get into a business relationship with him, and so I dumped it. And that's what I am going to do. I'm going to put my energy towards the AI revolution. I am going to grow these stocks. I'm going to determine whether Snowflake is something I want. I'm going to determine, if you watched my video yesterday, I asked OpenAI which are the stocks that I should be invested in, and he came up with names such as IBM and Salesforce, and I'm going to analyze them, their past history, their current financials, and determine whether I want to put it into my bus 13 portfolio. Again, I invite you to get on the bus. join our Discord, and I'll share everything I know with you, because this is the investment opportunity of a lifetime. I just showed you two guys who are knee-deep into it, and they see it like I see it. Let's talk about this more, and you'll find a link to where you can buy a ticket on Bus 13 in the description.